Winter meetings are happening in Dallas. Time for Front Office Insights presented by Sage. And for it, we welcome in Arizona Diamondbacks Executive Vice President, General Manager, our friend Mike Hazen joins us on a Monday. Mike, good morning. Thanks for a little bit of time this morning. How are you?
Yeah, good morning, guys. A little lonely up here without you guys here today.
Yeah, well,
we miss being there too, man. We miss that.
We had to keep the lights on in the closet here, apparently. So good to have you with us, even though it's through this old, TV technology stuff. So I guess we have to ask you about the industry's reception to the Juan Soto deal. I mean, you don't have to get too specific. Surprised, not surprised, the dollars. Give us what you got on Soto to the Mets.
Yeah, I picked the wrong time to kick this off here, huh? My timing is not impeccable in this situation. Look, you win with superstar players in this league, and I think you see that in the playoffs. You see that in the World Series, and there's a lot of great players on a lot of teams, but the superstars drive you throughout the course of your season. So any team that can add one of those types of players, you're doing pretty well for yourself.
Hey, I want to ask you, you talked about World Series, playoffs, all that. It was not too long ago you were there. What did you learn on that run with building a club that's sustainable? Like, you've been able to stay up there. I know you had some bumps in the road last year, but what did you learn on that?
Yeah, I think acquiring as much talent as possible and seeing how that talent can come together through a playoff run. It takes your entire roster. It takes your superstars playing like superstars, like Cattell did 2 years ago for us in the playoffs. We fell a little short last year. We obviously won 5 more games than we had the year before in the regular season. Fell a little short to the Mets and the Braves, but we still had a really good season. We still have a good core, good young team that I think is going to be very competitive going into next year.
Mike, regarding the market that your club is in right now and the Diamondbacks business, I'm sure you've experienced winters before where you're receiving more calls than you're placing. Is that number so far this winter commensurate, the outgoing as to the ingoing phone calls, or are you feeling it different one way or the other?
Yeah, I think we're a little bit of both. We have excess of starting pitching right now, so we're taking calls on that, obviously, because the starting pitching market is usually one of the hottest ones all winter, every winter. And then we have some depth with some of our position players that we're fielding on as well. But we'll see. We like our team. We like the way it's put together. We obviously have some home runs to make up that we've kind of lost here off in this winter. So we have some offense to put back together. We have a bullpen to put together. That's what we're working on right now.
Hey, Mike, I want to ask you, so last year we only had 2 teams win over 95 games in the big leagues. So parity is working. Does that make it more difficult to make trades in this environment?
I think there's a lot of smart teams out there. I think the teams are getting smarter. I think the line between, front offices is smaller. The on-field personnel, the coaching has never been better, smarter. And I think so everybody has a chance to improve their roster, both off the field and on the field. And that's where I think this parity's coming in. I think it's great for the game. I think you're seeing it through the regular season and into the playoffs.
I know you can't give us all the company secrets on Christian Walker and what's happening with his free agency, but I want to ask you just in general here. You've got a very important player whose contractual obligation with the club is in its final year. For those of us that don't know how this goes, take us into the room. Are there discussions that happen throughout the season? Do you wait until the end of the World Series? I mean, how does it generally go? And you don't have to be specific to Christian's case.
Yeah, I mean, look, in any player that I think once you get to the line where free agency is coming within the next 12 months, most guys want to experience free agency. It's their right. They've worked that hard. They've put themselves in a position to go out there and see what other 29 teams want to say to them, how they would value them. And, at that point, it becomes difficult for I think sometimes when you're in the 2+ year, the 1+ year, you have that much longer to go to free agency. I think you have more active discussions. I think once you get to the end, there's a little bit of an assumption. Not always. Sometimes those deals get done, but those get to be, in my experience, the hardest ones to tackle, just because it's so close, and these guys are they keep themselves in great shape. They know what they're preparing for. They know they're going to get there, and they're going to do well for themselves. And so that becomes the most challenging part, and it sort of mutes the discussions, I think, as you get nearer to the end.
Understood. And so I have to ask you the follow-up question. Are you guys still engaged with Christian in free agency?
Yeah, we're still engaged in the entire market to add offense back onto our club. We have lost some power production via free agency that we're going to have to replace with our offense. Obviously, we had a very good offensive year last year. We're not expecting to have the same offensive year this year, leading the league in runs like we did. But we still want to have a high-powered offense to match up with our run prevention and put us in as good a position as possible.
So, Mike, I want to ask you a little bit about your organization. Give me some young players that are up and coming. We always talk about that a lot, but I really want to pivot from the players. I'm going to take that off the board. And I want to talk about some of the coaches and executives. Who are the guys helping build that for you down there?
Yeah, we're very fortunate to have what we have. You know, we hired a great new pitching coach, Brian Kaplan, from the Phillies, and we're really happy to have him on board. And supplementing that with an extended staff underneath that. You know, we added our farm director, Sean Larkin, onto a third base coach who was, you know, with the Dodgers for a while and has been with us, and we think he's really going to help us as well. And you know, in the front office, we have a ton of bright young people, like most front offices do. But we're excited about that group as well, and I think we're trying to set ourselves up in position to have as sustainable as an organization as possible.
Good stuff. Mike, we appreciate the visit. You're always very generous with us in your time. The winter meetings every year, we get a chance to tap into you, so thanks, and enjoy the rest of your time in Dallas.
All right, guys, take care.